Right. Because P. Diddy be wanting the body. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did.
When that Netflix series come out, it's a rapper coming out with a Netflix series. I won't say no name. I don't want to spoil it for him. I'm not a friend of his. I don't want to, spoil something he got going on. But I will say this. He's doing a phenomenal job to the point where I was in awe.
So you have something huge coming up, which is a documentary about P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy.
Yeah.
Did he do it, right?
Yeah.
I know you've been heavy on social media talking about it.
He did it. And I'm the only one who's been vocal about this long before it actually.
Oh, you've been saying this for a long time now. And then no one was, they're just, why is he saying this? And now it's coming out like crazy. I mean,
but I also didn't participate. I also didn't go to those parties.
Yeah.
Sean Diddy Combs was still filming himself a week before he got arrested, months after the feds had already raided and taken all his tapes. And somehow that footage got to 50 Cent, who's now put it in his Netflix documentary.
The internet is on fire right now after shocking new footage leaked online recorded just days before Diddy's arrest in September 2024. In these clips, he's seen directing a videographer, speaking openly about extremely shady business, ordering lawyers around, and reacting aggressively when fans attempt to approach him. Many are calling these recordings secret tapes. And the fact that they somehow ended up in the hands of 50 Cent's production team has only fueled even more controversy. But what's made this situation explode even further is that Katt Williams has finally stepped into the conversation. And whenever Katt speaks up, it's usually because he believes the truth is finally catching up to warnings he gave years ago. In this video, we're breaking down exactly what appears in the leaked footage, why 50 Cent chose to include it in his documentary, and why Katt Williams says this moment proves he was never lying. We'll examine the allegations, the public reaction, and the quiet tension that's been brewing inside the entertainment industry for years.
It's hard to say because I don't want to spoil what's coming up. You know what I'm saying? I just want to say this. Like I said, it gets deeper and deeper. And the more that come out, the more intriguing the story gonna be. All I want to tell people is, when that Netflix series come out, it's a rapper coming out with a Netflix series. I won't say no name. I don't want to spoil it for him. I'm not a friend of his. I don't want to, spoil something he got going on. But I will say this: he's doing a phenomenal job to the point where I was in awe. You get what I'm saying? I was presented the opportunity to work with him, but like I said, the money wasn't enough for me to leave my couch. But he doing a phenomenal job, man. There's so many people that's hurt behind this. There's so many people that it's guys that can't come out because of their image. You know what I'm saying? That'll make your eyes go like, whoa. I know about the slams, the Stevie J's. I'm in the circle. I know about y'all. Y'all confirmed. I'm so happy. It's more. It's more. But I'm so happy it finally came out. A lot of stuff, people don't understand Puffy endured. A lot of stuff Puffy went through when he was younger. And I'm gonna leave it at that. Like I say, when this DVD come out, y'all check it out, man. We watched the icon fall.
So you have something huge coming up, which is a documentary about P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy.
Yeah.
Did he do it, right?
Yeah.
I know you've been heavy on social media talking about it.
He did it. And I'm the only one who's been vocal about this long before it actually.
Oh, you've been saying this for a long time now. And then no one was, they're just, why is he saying this? And now it's coming out like crazy.
But I also didn't participate. I also didn't go to those parties.
Yeah.
So a lot of the celebrity culture that you don't hear saying anything is because they participate. So
was there a reason you never went to those parties back in the day? Obviously, I know what was going on there, but is there a reason you never did?
I'm just not with all that freaking, all of the stuff that he's doing. I'm not into that type of stuff. I'm just a little more, maybe you could say basic or normal. You go to the 90s and Keefy D said they paid him to kill Tupac.
Yeah.
So you get the craziest accusations. You had TMZ created a docuseries. They went to Tubu, but the series is saying the downfall of Diddy.
You're one of the first persons in entertainment to really call out people and kind of have that authority in that, to be able to call people out. I mean, which is pretty amazing. You're kind of some ways draining the swamp of Hollywood.
Yeah, I don't have a support system. I don't have a support system of a peer group of artists that I require to do what I'm doing. I've had to be on my own from the beginning. So I don't necessarily have a responsibility to behave a certain way according to them. You know, and look, if I didn't have an award-winning director doing it, if I hadn't put the right people in place to produce it properly, I would.
When Andy Senior from Popcorn Planet first reacted to the leaked clips, viewers were stunned by just how detailed the footage was. This wasn't grainy security camera video or shaky phone recordings. Instead, the clips were clear, well-lit scenes showing Diddy moving through New York City, giving instructions, speaking with associates, and preparing for moments the public never even knew were being documented. What makes this even more shocking is that the footage was filmed by a videographer Diddy personally hired while he was already under federal investigation. Just 6 days before his arrest, he was directing the cameraman to capture city shots, rooftop views, and private behind-the-scenes conversations. No one expected material like this to exist. And absolutely no one expected it to surface inside a 50 Cent documentary.
Diddy Combs was still filming himself a week before he got arrested, months after the feds had already raided and taken all his tapes, and somehow that footage got to 50 Cent, who's now put it in his Netflix documentary. Needless to say, Sean Diddy Combs' lawyers are not too happy. Well, we got the clips, and you're going to want to watch them before they might get pulled elsewhere. I don't know if this footage was legally obtained. I'm not sure. I'm going to give you my speculation as well as my shock that somehow all this footage Sean Diddy Combs was filming before he got arrested after the raids got into the hands of 50 Cent, one of his arch nemesis. And now 50 has put the footage in his Netflix documentary. The mogul spokesman, Diddy spokesman, says they're deeply concerned that video shot days before the arrest is in this new documentary produced by his rival. How on earth did 50 Cent get a hold of footage of his lawyers? Now, one could say, isn't that privilege? How is this footage allowed? Now, you could also argue because someone's filming, there's other people there, you lose privilege. I've learned that in my appeals case. I have not filmed any of my legal meetings on purpose because if you film it, well, then it gives up your privilege in a way. So I'm assuming that's how they're getting away with this, because he's filming conversations with his lawyers, whether they knew or not. That footage, now that it's gotten in the wrong hands, or I guess different hands, isn't longer privilege.
The clips capture Diddy pacing with visible tension, speaking to his lawyers on speakerphone, asking for hand sanitizer after interacting with fans, and openly complaining that his team was losing ground in the investigation. Some moments show him discussing strategy. Others reveal distraction, and in several scenes, his confidence appears noticeably shaken. What made the footage even more unsettling was the presence of federal agents visible on a rooftop in the background. This immediately sparked one major question. How did 50 Cent get his hands on this footage? Diddy's legal team quickly claimed the videos were stolen, arguing they violated attorney-client privilege and were never intended for public release. However, legal experts pointed out a critical detail. Diddy knowingly allowed his lawyers to be filmed, which may have unintentionally weakened his own legal protections. The fact that this footage ended up in 50 Cent's possession only made the situation more explosive given their long-standing feud.
They've intrigued me. This is a case that I feel like I'm sort of over it. He lost. He keeps getting himself in trouble in jail. I'm a changed man. No, you're not. No, you're not. Even this past Thanksgiving, he's sucking up to all the fellow inmates as he organized a Thanksgiving dinner for 1,000 people. Of course, everything he does is to benefit himself. But in the most narcissistic, dangerous type of way. And he's getting caught doing more and more stuff that's keeping his time longer and longer in prison. Stuff he said he wouldn't do. But that's what this man's always done, is lied. Cassie's a liar. Cassie's a liar. She's ruining my reputation. And then the footage comes out. I'm deeply, blah, 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 blah. I'm so sick of this guy. The fact that he thought it was wise to be filming himself, literally, after the raid, that just shows this guy really considered he was too big to fail. And that's a motto I've learned in this industry. No one is too big to fail. No one! Everyone who's ever fallen, think about it. Everybody has fallen. They get back up, or sometimes don't fall as far down, but nobody is too big to fall. And that's a lesson Sean, I don't think
Sean Combs' The Reckoning is not simply a collection of accusations, it is a carefully structured 4-part documentary series that weaves together interviews, previously unseen footage, and a detailed timeline of Diddy's legal downfall. Directed by Alexandria Stapleton and executive produced by 50 Cent, the project paints a portrait of a man who tightly controlled his public image until reality finally caught up with him. The newly leaked footage serves as the emotional core of the documentary. These are rare moments where Diddy isn't performing. He's not on stage, not at a party, and not walking a red carpet. Instead, he appears as a man under immense pressure, grappling with uncertainty and the growing fear that his empire may be slipping away. 50 Cent clearly understood the impact of including these scenes. For years, he has hinted at Diddy's behavior, sometimes through jokes, sometimes through online trolling.
Who is Kirk Burrows to Diddy, and what does he have to say?
Kirk Burrows is the co-founder of Bad Boy Entertainment. You know, when we think of Bad Boy, we think of Diddy, but in the very beginning, when it was founded, there was Kirk, apparently, who was such good friends with Diddy that he was Justin's godfather. And you see him in these old photos, and it's kind of been erased in, recent history. But Kirk alleges something similar to what Little Rod said, of being best friends with him, being his protector. And slowly their situation started to change, that he alleges that Diddy kind of barged into his office one day and made him hand over or sign away his 25% stake in Bad Boy. And Kirk, again, doesn't get into specifics in the doc, but he alleges, I think he uses the word sexually deviant. Abuse was happening between him and Diddy at that time, while there's abusive kind of work relationship or a toxic work environment that he was working through. So it echoes a little bit of what Rod said about how abuse looked when it wasn't a girlfriend. It was a kind of work friend.
And I mean, so Kirk Burrows did file a civil lawsuit that got dismissed because it was outside of the time period where you could file it. We also hear from Joy Dickerson Neal, who also alleges sexual abuse, but she says something else as well about it being filmed. Can you just explain that?
Yeah, Joy Dickerson Neal filed actually right after Cassie did in November 2023. Her accusations go back to 1991, and in the documentary and also in her civil lawsuit, she said that she learned through a friend that the alleged assault was recorded. And not only was it recorded, but Diddy was playing it for people at parties. Upwards of 60 people saw this tape of her being assaulted, she claims. Her mother wrote a letter to Diddy's mom, Janice, kind of saying, I have to tell you about what your son has done to my daughter. And I only learned of this when I walked into her bedroom one night when she was screaming, crying in a nightmare. And that's how she learned what happened. It's just a devastating accusation. Yeah. And you can see how much it still affects Joy in her family, she says, to this day.
I mean, she talks about seeing a poster of him in the street and vomiting in the street and having a visceral reaction to him. Once again, all allegations. She does have a pending civil lawsuit against him. It is a really emotional part of the documentary, and she is breaking down in tears, recounting what she says happened to her, and talks about, not having much growing up and just having her pride and their self-respect, and almost that being stripped away by what she says happened to her. Again, we asked Diddy's legal team to respond to the allegations made by Kirk Burrows and Joy Dickerson Neal. They said they wouldn't be commenting on individual claims, but said the documentary was built around a one-sided narrative led by a publicly admitted adversary, and it repeats allegations without context, evidence, or verification. In a media statement earlier this year, his lawyers said anyone can file a lawsuit, adding, no matter how many lawsuits are filed, it won't change the fact that Mr. Combs has never sexually assaulted anyone, man or woman.
50 Cent also included testimony from 2 jurors involved in Diddy's 2025 trial. Their reflections add another layer to the story, highlighting the stark contrast between the public image people see and the very different figure examined inside the courtroom. When the leaked footage surfaced, many viewers finally understood why 50 Cent was so determined to make this documentary. Behind the scenes, the entertainment industry didn't stay quiet. Insiders privately admitted that the footage confirmed suspicions people had held for years, but were too afraid to voice publicly. Public reactions came in waves. Some artists expressed shock, while others said they weren't surprised at all. A few even questioned whether more recordings exist that still haven't been released. One question dominated the conversation. Why would he record all of this? According to those who worked closely with him, Diddy had a habit of documenting everything. He viewed cameras as tools for building his legacy. But in this case, that obsession may have backfired. The footage reveals a man who appears irritated, controlling, paranoid, and almost defeated. For fans who only knew the polished superstar persona, this version of Diddy felt like a completely different person.
New Netflix docuseries about Sean Diddy Combs is making headlines for its never-before-seen footage of the music mogul in the days before his arrest. Now, Combs is threatening legal action against the streamer for airing the unauthorized footage. Behind the series is Combs' longtime rap rival 50 Cent and director Alexandria Stapleton, who sat down with NBC News' Chloe Melas ahead of tonight's release.
Tonight, Netflix releasing never-before-seen video of Sean Diddy Combs filmed just days before his arrest on charges of trafficking and racketeering in 2024. The footage is part of a 4-part docuseries, Sean Combs: The Reckoning, premiering Tuesday. Behind the explosive documentary is Combs' longtime rival, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, and director Alexandria Stapleton.
How did you get that footage of Diddy?
I figure most journalists would not disclose their sources.
The recordings give viewers an intimate look at Combs' mindset ahead of his criminal trial, even conversations with his legal team.
Does he know y'all have this in the doc?
I would doubt he knows.
So when this airs, that'll be the first time that his legal team, Diddy, that everybody knows that this footage is now seeing the light of day. Perhaps. What was he intending to use it for?
I have no idea.
I mean, you know, you're talking about a man who films himself doing everything and has for decades. I think he wanted someone to be behind the scenes with him.
Combs' team firing back in a statement to NBC News today, saying the Netflix so-called documentary is a shameful hit piece and that they relied on stolen footage that was never authorized for release. His team sending a cease and desist to Netflix. Netflix referring NBC News to a statement from Stapleton in which she said they lawfully obtained the footage. After a nearly 8-week trial, Combs was acquitted of the more serious charges of trafficking and racketeering and sentenced to 50 months in federal prison for 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. Combs' team going on to slam Netflix for partnering with 50 Cent, who they say has been his longtime public adversary, something the Grammy winner denied, citing his own casting choices in his popular Stars franchise, Power.
One could watch this and think that you really hate Sean Combs.
Why would they be thinking that?
Because of the things that you post on Instagram, because of the...
Look at this. And let's stop for a second and do say that I hated him enough to hire his kids. And we've never done anything to each other. So it's just competitive energy and things that you say about other artists while you're in hip-hop culture.
This documentary is one of several that has chronicled Combs' rise and fall. But Stapleton says theirs is different.
Yeah, there's a lot of new information. No one had ever really put it together like that before.
For 50 Cent, he says he feels a sense of obligation.
Well, you know, if I didn't say anything, you could assume that all of hip-hop culture is comfortable with his actions.
And Chloe Melas joins us now in studio. Chloe, you've seen the whole documentary. What else can you tell us about it?
So there's a lot more of this never-before-seen footage, Tom, of Combs having really private conversations with his legal team, and you really get a sense of his mindset ahead of his criminal trial, which is really fascinating for me because he never did any sit-down interviews ahead of the trial. So you finally get to see what his strategy was and how worried he was. But clearly, perhaps he didn't think that he was going to go to prison because he's filming this documentary. You're also going to hear from Aubrey O'Day. She was in the girl band Danity Kane as part of making the band. She has an explosive allegation against Combs. And then there's quite a bit that focuses on the murders of Biggie and Tupac, and people from Combs' inner circle raising a lot of questions. People are going to also have a lot to say about that.
Diddy's legal team moved quickly, releasing statements that claimed the footage was stolen and illegally obtained. They even suggested that people close to the videographer may have handed it over in exchange for money. The revelation that 50 Cent somehow obtained the material after the federal raids only deepened the mystery. Questions immediately began to surface. Was the footage seized during the investigation and later leaked? Did the videographer give it up voluntarily, or was it collected as evidence and eventually accessed through legal channels? No clear answers followed. At the same time, many artists who once attended Diddy's parties chose to remain silent. Few were willing to comment publicly. The documentary had already placed pressure on individuals who feared being connected to anything controversial. This leaked footage added an entirely new level of discomfort. It was no longer just allegations. It was a visual record. And that reality made everyone nervous.
More than they would put down in that documentary. You know what I'm saying? You either see me, when Puff is standing up right there, you see me down there trying to do CPR on somebody, and that was a 17-year-old kid that died, bro. That was a 17-year-old kid that died. I knew his brother. His brother was sitting there crying, talking about my mama gonna kill me. This is the first time I ever took my little brother anywhere.
Terrible, man. Who do you put the blame on for that whole city college thing? Do you put it all on Diddy, or is it more people that play the part?
Well, I think Puff cutting security for the outside is a big part. Second of all, the college should have had their security there, and you didn't see none of the college security. And the college should have let the police department know that it was a function of that magnitude that was coming. So it's Diddy and the college and the security and the school.
To get into this documentary, man, because I want to get your point of view, man, and I want you to break it down. There's one part in here where Eric Sermon, he told the story about how he was in the car with Lisa, and Diddy caught him in the car, and Diddy swung on him. You seen that part?
Well, Eric Sermon said that Puff swung on him and invited him, and he invited Puff to go around the corner. But a lot of people, Kirk Burrows told the story, and I told him, like, because we knew that had happened back in the day, that Puff was putting his hands on Misa. You know what I'm saying? I used to bodyguard Misa, brother. You understand what I'm saying? I used to bodyguard Misa. You know, after I started working for Puff and everything like that, I started working. Misa wanted to still be out. Misa still wanted to go to places. Misa still wanted to be out and about. So she said, Gene, would you look out for me? I said, Misa, you can't afford me. She said, Gene, it's only going to be for a couple of hours when I go out and stuff like that. I know he's not going to do nothing and he see me with you. You understand what I'm saying? So I said, all right, cool. All right, Misa. All right. So if I come out for a couple of hours and stuff like that, every time I come out, Misa, it'll be $200, $250 for a couple of hours just for you, Misa. So it was known that Puff had a hand problem, especially when it came to women that he dated. And it was surprisingly that he swung, and like Eric Sermon said, on him. You understand? And then went to listen to some music. That shit was crazy to me. So my whole thing about it is that the Eric Sermon shit, and then he went to listen to Juicy after Nick swung on him. That's some industry, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's some crazy industry. The whole thing about when he's talking about the Misa part being in his car and everything like that, and that was the part whereas that Puff was putting his hands on Misa, and he should have whooped his ass right then and there, you know, no matter if Misa was just in his car chilling.
Once the footage went viral, many viewers waited for a response from Katt Williams. And he didn't disappoint. When Katt finally spoke, his tone was calm, almost like someone watching a storm he had predicted years earlier. For a long time, he had warned that certain powerful figures in Hollywood operated in unhealthy, manipulative ways. At the time, people laughed it off. Others accused him of exaggerating, but now the documentary and the leaked footage seemed to validate many of the things he had been hinting at all along. Katt explained that the clips reflected behavior he had personally witnessed behind the scenes. He spoke about ego, entitlement, and the pressure people around Diddy often felt to meet his demands. While he never claimed to know every detail, he said he recognized the patterns immediately. He pointed to the way Diddy spoke to his lawyers, the way he reacted when fans touched him, and the overall tone of the conversations. As Katt put it, this is the version of Diddy the public was never allowed to see. What makes Katt's reaction so impactful is that he doesn't frame it as gossip. He speaks like someone who sounded the alarm years ago and is now watching events unfold in real time. He even credited 50 Cent, saying the documentary finally created space for real stories to be told without industry pressure. Katt's message was simple. When people stay silent for too long, the truth eventually finds another way out. The leaked footage isn't shocking because of dramatic action. It's powerful because of how ordinary it is. That's what makes it revealing. The clips show Diddy waking up stressed, pacing through hotel rooms, quietly discussing strategy, and complaining that his legal team is falling behind. At one point, he admits, "We're losing." In another moment, he tells the videographer to capture skyline shots, explaining that things may change soon. It feels like the calm before a storm, one he already sensed was coming.
Diddy, why would you even start recording this? Like, why would you even give us this leverage to even put this thing out? Please, give us some tips. Well, I wouldn't call it leverage, but go ahead.
Well, the whole point of him filming this whole thing was because I'm sure that he planned on doing his own documentary. This is an extreme narcissist you're talking about. Extreme. He's sitting there with feds, an eye shot away from his hotel suite, filming his hotel room, and he's looking at them and he's filming them right back. He's literally saying in certain parts, yeah, make sure you're filming all of this because we need to get some, some cutaway shots.
That's wild. That's wild.
No, he was literally, did nobody pay attention to that?
Oh, I saw.
Like he said, yeah, make sure you're filming all of this. We need this for cutaways. Like you're sitting here collecting footage, like a director, like an AD.
What does that say to the cameraman that, can anybody be bought? Or, he said, the cameraman said he recorded all this for Diddy, and then of course Diddy got locked up, so.
Yeah, Diddy got locked up and he didn't get paid. That's you. A lot of people seem to have that experience.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Dealing with Combs Enterprise. They come in and they work and they don't get paid.
Oh yeah. Oh, we're gonna build up to it real quick.
Yeah, so he was able to sell that footage to whomever he chose. The question is, how did anybody know about it? Like, that's the thing. Like, that's the part that, it's so funny because people they get so excited. But when you've got a lawyer like Mark Agnafilo who is orchestrating your possible surrender, because as you heard him say in the beginning of the documentary, he was very clear. It's almost the middle of September and there's no indictment. As you heard Diddy say, I've been an exemplary client like you've asked. You said I've been an excellent client. I came here. I did everything you asked me to do. That's what they're literally having this conversation.
Yeah, in that conversation, Diddy was worried about the outlook of the public versus the victim.
Outlook of the public? Oh, he was worried a lot more than that. You don't think? He literally sat there and said, we need comms. He's sitting there talking like an evil dictator. We need comms. We need a way into this conversation. We're losing, he said. We're losing. Losing what? What are you losing? But the key words that he said that were so important were We need to be able to be speaking to the potential juror.
50 Cent's documentary has built a bridge between testimony and evidence. Katt Williams' commentary has connected years of warnings to the revelations now unfolding in real time. And the industry's silence speaks louder than any public statement ever could. But the biggest question still remains now that the truth is emerging in ways no one expected. Will the entertainment world finally confront its culture of secrecy? Or will it continue protecting the powerful until the next storm hits? Let us know what you think in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button so you never miss an update. And until next time, fam.